Hello and welcome to Prophecy Watchers. I'm Gary Stearman, and we're going to have a great time today on Prophecy Watchers with guest, pastor, teacher, author, Billy Crone. Billy, good to have you here.
Hey, Gary. It's great to be back. Thanks for having me.
Billy and I have done a lot of talking over time, and I've absorbed a lot of the material he produces, and we have so much to talk about. You are such a hale fellow, a jovial fellow, easy to talk to.
Yeah.
And yet, sadly, today, we have to bring a very dark message. And that dark message is about something that is prophetic to the first degree. And it's going on today, even as we speak.
Yeah, it is. And it's I agree with you. It's sobering, it's concerning, but it has everything to do with Bible prophecy. Last time I checked, we're supposed to study all the Bible. Including Bible prophecy. And again, unfortunately, a lot of people, they look at, you've heard the phrase out there, doom and gloom, and I don't want to hear this, whatever, but you're misunderstanding, again, the purpose of Bible prophecy. Why did God dedicate nearly 1/3 of this book to future events? Because he wants us to know the future.
Sure.
And it's for our good. It's to motivate us. And dare I say, so that we, the Christian, can not only know the truth and share that with others, but so that we're not caught off guard. And God wants us to know, and then ultimately, it is concerning what you see and how you see Bible prophecy unfolding before our very eyes. But it's a wonderful thing for the Christian because it keeps us from falling in love with this wicked world system. We're not saved for this garbage can down here, Gary. We're saved for the world to come. But we forget that. We're also called to get out there and share the gospel, the greatest news of all, that there's a way out of this mess. We forget that. Right? Sometimes we get entangled in sin or get sidetracked with this wicked world system. And when you realize that, hey, when the rapture happens, Jesus is going to find me doing something, what am I doing? And so it motivates you to holy living and things of that nature. That's all for our good, right? And dare I say, Bible prophecy is happening at such a rate, as much as I personally teach on it, and you, it's hard to keep up. But if anything, what's happening is even the lost person, Gary, with what's going on geopolitically around the world, even in America, even the lost person's going, man, something is wrong this time, and it's not getting better. We're not going back to the normal. This is the new normal, which is not good. And so they're starting to wake up and ask questions. And so basically what I say is, if anything, God's given us a golden platter opportunity to make it even easier for us to reach our culture, because we should be able to plow in and say, you know what, you're right. Things are messed up. And you're right, there is an agenda behind the global scenes. Let me tell you about it, okay, what the Bible says about it, and how to get out of it.
May I set the scene?
Yeah.
In the last century or so, we've seen numerous attempts by numerous groups to try to take over the world. And basically, world rule was their goal. And of course, we all remember Adolf Hitler and his Third Reich, which was going to expand, cover the whole globe and so forth. We've all seen that. And then we saw World War II end. Israel came back to the land in 1948. We have come forward from there, and many of us have been reading and teaching Bible prophecy in the years between then and now, and that brings us up to the present, except that we see something very dark emerging that reminds us of what was going on back in the 20s and 30s.
Right.
And let me just use a key phrase here: World Economic Forum.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of study on that. And let's what is the World Economic Forum?
The World Economic Forum serves a few different purposes. Most people might catch on to the first purpose. It was started by Klaus Schwab, who grew up in Hitler's Germany, by the way.
Yes.
Which explains, again, he's basically, in a nutshell, trying to bring to the planet the Fourth Reich. Now, you can't call it that because people will freak out. So he calls it the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Right? And basically all that Hitler wanted to bring to the world in the Third Reich, this utopia that he was building and forcing upon the planet, Klaus is now doing. Hitler only made it as far as Germany. He lost the war, but Klaus has picked it up, revamped it, relabeled it, and now he's bringing that to the planet. And this World Economic Forum, he started in 1971. And so for 50 years, that thing has been functioning on a twofold purpose. Number one, and most people catch on again to this first purpose, this is where the global elites, including Klaus, who started this group, go every year annually in Davos, Switzerland, is where they meet at the World Economic Forum, and they discuss how they're going to, and this is on tape, steer the planet the way they want it to go, okay, economically as well. And so right there, I'm going like, how is that not a national security issue? Is beyond me, but most people get that. What they don't get, Gary, is typically this. Since 1971, so basically over 50 years ago, the World Economic Forum has also been training future global leaders who for over 50 years, Klaus Schwab has been planted in every major developed country and who will do his bidding. I call it basically his SS, right? Hitler had his cadre of people that were closest to him and with some of the most evil tyrannical behavior, but they did Hitler's bidding. They were the strong arm of Hitler, right?
Yes.
Klaus has basically used the World Economic Forum to train these people, not just an annual global meeting. It's a training institute, and you can see this, believe it or not, they have their own website. They don't shrink back from this. They tell you all about it. It's called the Young Global Leaders Program, right? And they have been training for years, global leaders, I call them SS agents, who will do the bidding of Klaus. And for the last 50 years, he's planted them all over the planet. People, like including our current administration, the Biden administration, Biden is a World Economic Plant doing Klaus's bidding. We know that because Biden ran on the slogan, what? Build Back Better.
Yes.
Where'd that come from?
Well, it came from the forum itself, right?
Exactly. He even used the phrase, but there's going to become a very dark winter. That's from Klaus Schwab and the gang. So he told us, most people didn't get it, Biden told us who he was working for, and it's not the American people.
Well,
it's for
right
Klaus and the
now,
gang.
people are looking and say, hey, all electric, no gasoline, no oil coming out of the ground, no natural gas. How am I going to run my furnace? How am I going to cook my food? And then people say, well, why is all this happening right now?
In order to take control of the global economy, which is the goal of the Great Reset, they want to reset it, take control of the economy, you have to first get rid of the existing one. And what is it that governs our existing economic structure around the world? The dollar. So the dollar system has to go in order to create the excuse to create a new one, this Great Reset. When you know the agenda from Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum, then it begins to explain the unified behavior, by the way, of all these countries around the world. They react the same way. You had the crisis that happened in 2020 when the bug came, right? How is it that 190 countries reacted overnight exactly the same way, lock and step, whatever? Because the countries are planted with World Economic Forum SS guys following the agenda. And that agenda, admittedly by Klaus, was the global crisis that they're going to usher in, basically the Fourth Reich, they call it the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the Great Reset. It's the excuse to get it kick-started. And they have a goal in mind, and this is all over the place. They want it all in place by 2030. That's why the Great Reset's also called Agenda 2030. Wow. The agenda is to take over the planet, including America, by 2030. And this is the goal they have in mind. But the World Economic Forum, let me prove to you, it's not just America, it's not just Biden. Who also is a graduate of the World Economic Forum? Justin Trudeau of Canada.
Now that makes sense when you look at what Canada's been doing lately.
Yeah, the tyrannical behavior and all kinds of stuff that's going on there. Macron in France, a graduate of World Economic Forum. Angela Merkel, Germany, a graduate of France. And on and on and on it goes. I'll go over here back to America because it's not just the political leaders around the world. This is why they're all fulfilling the agenda of Klaus. It's the corporations, it's the media, it's the scientific communities, educational communities. They're all in on this. But let me give you an government. Both sides of our aisle, Democrats and Republicans, are working for Klaus Schwab. It really is a swamp. It's a World Economic Forum swamp.
But do they know they are?
Yes, they are. And here, they're not hiding it, Gary. And I'll give you some homework for the viewers.
Okay.
Go to the World Economic Forum's website. They have a searchable database there of the Young Global Leaders Program. I call them the SS agents in training. And they are the ones that get planted around the world. And this has been going for 50 years. And so, but you can type in somebody's name and you'll see World Economic Forum, World Economic Forum. And it's all industries, corporations, politicians, Democrat, Republicans, all over. And this is happening all over the world. It's been going on for 50 years. And the last crisis was the trigger to start all this. Anyway, I'll give you a really recent example. Kevin McCarthy. Remember that?
Sure.
It took 15 times to get that guy voted in. I'm thinking, okay, maybe after 6 you say, well, we better try somebody else. This ain't going nowhere. Why do they try so hard for so long to get that guy in? And I'll challenge the viewer. Type in Kevin McCarthy in the World Economic Forum's searchable database, and guess what you will find? World Economic Forum. They had to get their guy in there. It's both sides of the aisle. We're being lied to. And this is why, Gary, no matter what we do, it just seems like we keep moving forward with this global agenda, this anti-American agenda, trying to get us to go along with this great reset. It's because both sides of the aisle, our country has been invaded by these world economic, I call them, again, SS agents.
We've got to pause for a moment. You're listening to Billy Crone. He's a pastor teacher. He is a gifted speaker, and he and his allies have an incredible research system to come up with all these truths that you would miss if you weren't looking. We do have a magazine monthly, The Prophecy Watcher. Here's how you can subscribe to it.
In case you haven't noticed, the whole world is spinning out of control. But we are not surprised because many of the things taking place were prophesied in the Bible thousands of years ago. That's why we want to offer you a very special subscription to our magazine, The Prophecy Watcher, that will keep you on the cutting edge of Bible prophecy. Stay informed on prophetic world events. Follow the nuclear threats from Russia and Iran, China's march to world domination, the likelihood of another global pandemic, the rise of artificial intelligence and transhumanism, war in the Middle East, the UFO phenomenon, and the latest technology preparing the world for the mark of the beast. The Prophecy Watcher magazine features articles from leading prophecy experts like Gary Stearman, Mondo Gonzalez, Thomas Ice, Randall Price, L.A. Marzulli, Bill Salas, and many others. With your gift of $50 or more to support the worldwide outreach of Prophecy Watchers, you will receive 12 issues of the magazine in either print or digital format. You will also receive 10 bonus DVDs that feature in-depth teaching on the ancient book of Enoch, heaven and the New Jerusalem, the biblical case for the rapture, a look at how God put the gospel in the stars, what really happened at the Tower of Babel, and Ezekiel's prophecy on the Battle of Gog and Magog. This special offer is available anywhere in the United States with free shipping included. Don't wait. Pick up the phone right now and call the toll-free number on your screen or visit us at prophecywatchers.tv. Stand with us today and help us take the message of Christ's soon return to the whole world.
Well, good to be back with Pastor Billy Crone. And Billy, I'm going to just hold this book up. It's about 500 pages.
Yeah.
And I'm going to read the front page. Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum, and the Coming Mark of the Beast by Billy Crone.
Yeah.
Now, this book is heavy duty. It's not just heavy. You have done some incredible research.
Yeah.
I have followed your research. I've checked out your DVDs that are now in series and so packed with information it will blow your mind. But Billy doesn't stop, and praise God, the Lord has set you on a mission. I do believe to expose all this for the Christian world. A Christian sitting out there watching us right now, what would you say to him or her that all this is happening? What can I do?
Well, number one, we need to get back to what I call plan A. There's never been a plan B. We just think there is. And plan A is, what are we supposed to do as a Christian, no matter what generation we live in, no matter what time it is? We are to, number one, you get up and you stay tight in your walk with Jesus Christ. You love Him.
Yeah.
You grow up in Him, become mature, get into the Word, right? And you get the gospel out. That's it. And that's what the early church did, and that's what their focus was, and they radically began to spread and make a difference around the world. We just need to get back to that, Gary.
A revival is what you're asking for.
Yeah, and dare I say, just basic biblical Christianity. It's just we need to get back to that. What a concept.
Yeah.
And but basically, in a nutshell, the reason why even as a Christian we need to know this is because I'm convinced after now this is our third expose on this guy and what he's up to. I'm convinced that whether he admits it, realizes it, or knows it or not, he and the cadre who's working for him around the world is building what the Bible alone is the only book on the planet that tells us where this is headed, what these guys are up to. It's the mark of the beast system. It's the Antichrist kingdom. And if you look at Revelation 13, you see in verses 7 and 8 that he was given authority over every tribe, people, language, and nation, the Antichrist. Well, that's a one world government.
Yes.
Verse 8, all inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast. That's a one world religion. And then verse 15, he was given power to give breath to this image of the Antichrist so that it could speak and cause all who refuse to worship the image to be killed, which implies a big brother global micromanaging the planet system, because you're going to give an order, so it has to be able to reach everybody around the planet. Number two, when the order is given, you're going to be able to know if people obeyed or not instantly, and then you're going to know their exact location, because it says, and if you don't, you're going to be killed. So that's a big brother system. And then, of course, 16 and 17 is the classic thing. They're going to control the buying and selling on the planet with some sort of biometric marking system, right hand, forehead. So that's the one world economy, cashless society, mark of the beast. So basically, when you look at what these guys are doing, they call it the Great Reset. I'm convinced it's the Antichrist kingdom. These guys are laying the foundation, because everything that they're bringing to the planet in this new utopia they call the Great Reset is installing a one world government, a one world religion, a big brother global surveillance state, a prison planet, and a one world economy, cashless society that will be biometrically tied into your body. And gee whiz, on tape, guess where they give you options to get a microchip? In the hand, or Klaus is really big on the brain chip, go figure, which is the two places for the mark of the beast.
And
it writes itself.
How do you learn about that? Well, you study, but Billy's already done some studying, I can tell you. And if you look at his materials, what you see there will absolutely blow your mind, to use an expression I've heard you use many times. It's one of your favorites.
Yeah.
But I have to, Billy, we have today in orbit not just tens, but hundreds, maybe thousands of satellites that are dedicated to 24/7 communication, surveillance, you name it. We have artificial intelligence. We have machine learning. We have brain scanning. We have all these high-tech developments that are exploding. Mm-hmm. And they all say one thing to me: a system that can track you wherever you go 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Right.
And you won't even know they're there.
You won't even know they're there, but I'm not going to say thus saith the Lord. When it comes to the mark of the beast, it says, for those that take the mark in the 7-year tribulation, that it's going to control the buying and selling. But you look at the same technology that they're promoting, by the way, which will allow you to buy and sell.
Yeah.
Go back to Klaus Schwab, mark of the beast. Yes, it'll control the buying and selling, but it's not. He's really big, and we got him on tape. He says it all the time. He talks about the brain chip. And again, go figure, even people in prophecy circles, we've already been conditioned. People are using their hands to make payments,
Sure.
chipping for payments. And so we get that. But everybody's going like, brain? Why does the Bible say right hand or the forehead? Who's going to do the forehead? Well, I'm telling you, this guy's big on the brain chips, right? And I got him on tape, Gary. Let me put this together. This is how close we are. He's on tape in 2016. He's having an interview in the UK. And he basically says in this interview, nonchalant, he says that, just as, he's telling them what's coming to the planet. He said, just as we've all gotten used to microchips being in our clothing, we're all going to be microchipped. And he always points to the head. And that was crazy. That was 2016.
7 years ago.
Right. Well, the next year, I came across this interview. I'm going, you got to be kidding me. He's at the World Economic Forum, his think tank, SS Agent Training Ground.
Yeah.
He's interviewing Sergey Brin the very next year, 2017. Sergey Brin, if people don't know, he's the co-founder of Google along with Larry Page. Google is part of the team that's developing the AI that's being used to run this micromanaging system of the planet, Revelation 13. And so he's interviewing him, and I kid you not, he filled in the blank as to why Klaus is so big on these brain chips. He's back to talking about the brain chips the very next year. And so he's looking at Sergey. You got the whole audience out here. He's looking at Sergey, and he goes, hey, he says, we're all going to get these brain chips. And then he sweeps his arm to the whole crowd, and he says, and for instance, that way we will be able to know instantly how you, the audience, because we all got brain chips, how you are responding to our talk between myself and Sergey, whether you liked it, whether you didn't like it or not. It's thought control. And you're going like, okay, it says buying and selling, but maybe it's even more than that. And then when you look at it, you go, oh, they can't monitor your thoughts. It's actual technology already out there. I got on tape, I got a scientist who, by the way, thinks this is a great thing. He says that they will be able to not only monitor your thoughts, but they will be able to insert thoughts, they will be able to delete thoughts, and they're pitching it as a health issue. Like, everybody's suffering from depression. We could go in there, if you get a brain chip, we could delete the depression. You won't be depressed anymore. Wow. Soldiers suffer from PTSD, right? We could go in there and delete that thought. They'll be fine anymore. Other ones, the same guy, he predicted this. He said, and then maybe we could do something like this. We will be able to offer, listen to this, they found a way to make money off of it, a subscription-based option for you if you get the brain chip. For instance, we will be able to, you can, like you're scrolling through Netflix, you could be able to pick, this is what, and I quote, this is what I want to dream about tonight. And they're glowingly going, this is what's going to happen. It's going to, people who have lost the use of their limbs will get their limbs back. And they're pitching as this great utopia. But what's it come at the cost of not just, it just so happens, not just right hand, but the brain, a brain chip that they want to bring to the whole planet that will tie you into this matrix system that you're talking about, the internet all over. Everything's going to be microchip, people, animals, products, you name it. And you're going to be tied into the system, which involves, yes, controlling buying and selling. It'll control your thoughts. And then, not saying thus saith the Lord, but I got to add this. A lot of people, they wonder why, when the Bible talks about those who take the mark of the beast in the 7-year tribulation, that they're doomed. You're going straight to hell. You don't collect $200, you don't pass go, nothing. Or you are doomed. And people go, well, why? Well, one, I think it's because it's a choice. You don't wake up on the couch, oh no, they chipped me, I'm going to hell. You chose to do that, number one, and it's an act of worship. Revelation 13 mentions it 4 times. They worship the beast. But with that said, put this technology to it. Maybe the reason why they're doomed is because, I'm not saying thus saith the Lord, but something to think about, but because the moment that a thought comes across their mind, because they took the chip,
yes,
it's monitored, it's instantly deleted, you won't even get that far.
Wow.
They'll wipe it out.
It's Billy Crone. He's talking about things that are really frightening. I don't think I'm going to be there. But let's pause right now and let you know how you can get hold of Billy's materials.
Once again, Pastor Billy Crone has our full attention as he shares his amazing research into the plans of the globalists and the World Economic Forum, led by Klaus Schwab. For over 50 years, they have been training these future globalists for the Global Reset and Agenda 2030. Of course, he is only one of many men and women helping Lucifer accomplish his ultimate goal, one man ruling the world with a desire to be worshipped as God. The Bible calls him the Antichrist. His system of worldwide control revolves around the mark of the beast, which is connected to modern technology and active worship. Brain chips, invisible tattoos, tracking devices, even the ability to read your thoughts. We've entered a whole new world of possibilities. You won't want to miss the 2 books or the 2 DVDs on Klaus Schwab and the Fourth Reich and Klaus Schwab and the Mark of the Beast. It appears he's following in Adolf Hitler's footsteps. While both of Billy's books and DVDs are available individually in our bookstore at prophecywatchers.tv, we've packaged them together with some extra bonuses to thank you for keeping up with the signs of the times and supporting Prophecy Watchers. The Klaus Schwab book collection includes Billy's research on the rise of Hitler and the Third Reich and points us to the soon arrival of the Fourth Reich. Billy's new book, Klaus Schwab and the Mark of the Beast, contains over 500 pages of cutting-edge research on this explosive subject. Both books are available from our ministry for your gift of $65 or more, with 2 free bonuses: a copy of Gary Stearman's DVD, The Last Trump, and Billy Crone's shocking rescue from Satan's clutches, the day he put a shotgun to his chest and pulled the trigger. It's a miraculous testimony of God's supernatural deliverance. Shipping, of course, is included, as always, anywhere in the USA. The Klaus Schwab DVD collection includes 10 DVDs that document the rise of Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum, The Fourth Reich, and The Mark of the Beast. These 10 DVDs contain 22 well-documented studies that even had Gary shaking his head in disbelief at the depth of the research. These 10 DVDs are available for your gift of $90 or more, with shipping included in the USA, and will include those same free bonuses with this package as well. Billy's research will help you prepare for the things to come and help you keep your loved ones out of the tribulation. Read the books, watch the DVDs, and share them with others. Time is short, and Jesus is coming soon.
Well, we're back. We're talking about some things that, we're talking about details. For years now, we've been talking about the mark of the beast.
Yeah.
Preachers have been preaching. You can go back 100 years and find sermons.
Yeah.
But now we're getting closer, and we're seeing that it proceeds on a technological level that we never even dreamed of. Things are exploding, I guess you could say. You've got that all documented so that people can understand what's going on. And I agree with you. We need a revival. In a couple, 3 minutes here, how would you conclude this message and encourage people that are watching us right now?
Yeah. Well, number one, people they need to wake up, Gary, and realize, listen, you call it a doom and gloom, whatever you want, but we need to, as Christians, take serious the days that we live in. Because I'm not afraid, like you said, we're not going to the 7-year tribulation as a born-again Christian.
That's true.
I don't know how far into this godless agenda we'll be a part of before Christ takes us out. But let's not act like this is not going on. It should motivate us to get the gospel out as fast as we can, because maybe today's the last day. We don't know. These guys are building the Antichrist kingdom. We're not going to be a part of that, but the logical conclusion is if we see the foundation being laid, even down to the mark of the beast, we got to finish strong.
I just have to say something. What you're talking about is not just mechanical. It's not just satellites and artificial intelligence and mechanical learning. It's not things like that so much as it is a spiritual movement.
Yeah.
When a man will stand up and call himself God and people will fall down and worship him, that is something else entirely. And that is coming.
Right.
And you need to prepare yourself. In fact, you need to prepare yourself to the extent that you won't be here when it comes.
Right.
And Billy and I talk about this all the time.
As a Christian, I don't know the day nor the hour, but I'm going like, man, Jesus is getting ready to come back to get his bride, because we're not going to be in this. So that should excite me, because last time I checked, being with Jesus is way better than this garbage can down here. Number two, this might be my last opportunity to tell my loved ones, my neighbors, co-workers, whoever, that there is a way out of this mess. This is not the bad news. It's the good news. There's a way out of this mess. This is real. And dare I say, not all fear is bad. If it motivates you to accept Christ your Savior, praise God for that. But we have to be honest with the facts.
Pastor Billy Crone, being honest, well-informed, and may I say to you, you keep watching. We are.